today, guys, but I got to start with a serious situation that I'm very concerned about.
Let's do this.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Now, as you know, Jason, I know you've been in this camp with me. We've been fighting the fight for all these people who actually think the quarterback tracker matters, right? There are a number of people out there that believe the ridiculous quarterback tracker that ESPN Cleveland puts up matters. So I have decided this morning that after a year and change of trying to fight this fight, that I'm going to go the opposite way. That I am going to embrace the quarterback tracker and use it as my Bible, really. I'm getting religious here. But football is my religion, and the quarterback tracker will be my new Bible. So can you bring it up for today?
Here it comes. Wait and see.
This is breaking news. Me obsessed with the quarterback tracker. Thank you. I agree it's breaking news. Now, let's go to the bottom of this chart.
Yep.
Taylor Green was 6 for 6.
Yep.
Now, it doesn't matter that I didn't see any of those passes and I don't know who caught them. But I will say that I could argue, based on this tracker, that Taylor Green is being sabotaged by the Cleveland Browns.
I knew you were going to say that.
Todd Monken has a plot at hand to sabotage Taylor Green, right? That's the only thing I can take out of this tracker. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I truly believe in this conspiracy theory.
Dylan's 10 11. Dylan's 10 of 11.
But at least he got 11 chances. If this was a fair competition, Jason, Taylor Green would have as many chances as the other two guys.
Taylor Green was throwing to the water boy yesterday.
He was forced to throw to the water boy, the ball boy, and the PR team. This is unfair. I demand that Todd Monken give equal time to Taylor Green. I was told consistently last year that everybody must get an equal chance. Was I not?
You were.
So that's all I'm asking for.
TG15, he needs first team reps, because you just never know how this thing is going to play out.
Sabotage!
Sabotage, yes, indeed. That's got to be the headline on this segment. The sabotage
of Taylor Green.
Well, you're going out to camp today.
Yes.
For the first time in a long time. Earl's also making his first appearance at a Todd Monken training camp. Jason, you were there yesterday, so I want you to go third on this. Earl and Bull, and Earl, I'll start with you. You're going to see Todd Monken, this quarterback battle, this new team, the 2026 rookie class, up close, in person, for the first time. When you go out to camp this afternoon, what are you most looking forward to seeing from this 2026 Cleveland Browns squad?
Man, I'm looking at the leadership. I want to see the body language, the communication. I think communication can be verbal and nonverbal. I want to see the attention to detail. I want to see what the intensity level is like. I want to see, just the emotion around it all. I think leadership plays a huge part in how far you can go in any organization. And I always put my mindset in working a regular job and being the supervisor and managing 7 people. How good my department ends up being depends on my leadership and how people respond to my leadership. And Chris Wrinkle did a great job yesterday talking about the noticeable difference from a Todd Monken ran training camp versus what we had previously with Kevin Stefanski. And if players are really responding to what Todd Monken is putting down and they're really bought in, then I'm going to be interested to see that outside of everything else, because I know it's not the fanciest answer, but that little nuance right there, in my opinion, I think it goes a long way in how much you can get out of your team if they're really bought in and focused and, all of that good stuff on what it is you're trying to put down as a head coach.
Jason?
I thought you were going next. It's quarterbacks. That's what you're watching. That's what everybody's watching is the quarterbacks. And I like seeing the pairings of who's with who, really, in terms of where the receivers, is Fano at left tackle or is DeWan at left tackle.
Yeah.
Like, we're so early into camp that most of this stuff, you guys will see it. It's a 2-hour practice, 2.5-hour practice. Very few periods are live 11-on-11.
Right.
Like, there's not many.
Right.
So a lot of the time is it's positional drills. It's guys hitting sleds. It's stuff that, what are you really going to draw from it, if we're being honest? So, I was in practice yesterday, saw the whole thing, and spent 95% of the time watching.
Oh.
watching Deshaun and Shador.
Yeah.
And the way and you know, I mean, yesterday the fans weren't there, so we were able to sit high up in the bleachers to where you can see both fields at the same time.
Are there fans there today?
There will be fans
Today the first time fans
Today
are
is the first time fans are allowed.
Yeah.
So we will not be able to sit high in the bleachers today.
Mm.
So it's might be a little bit trickier to see the second field. You basically see the field you're standing on.
Yeah.
But it'll be hard to see the other one. But I mean, let's be honest. We're watching quarterbacks.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to schmoozing. You know, schmoozing with the other media. Well, some of the media members.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them hate me.
Yeah, well, I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't really care. I wasn't going to schmooze with them anyway.
They ain't gonna hate you in person.
Well,
Energy is always different in person.
Well, listen, I'm not going to, rip them in person either because, I'm not doing a show. But if they, I don't know. Well, whatever. It's fine. No, but I am looking to schmooze with the fans. Come say hi if you're going out to, because I'd rather talk with the fans than, watch much of the practice. Now, I'm just kidding around. Obviously, it's the quarterback situation. I want to see what both quarterbacks look like in person for whatever that's worth. And again, I don't think you could take much out of practice, if at all. You certainly, obviously, I was joking about the quarterback tracker. The quarterback tracker remains a joke. It's completely useless. There's no value, zero value in the quarterback tracker. Anybody that takes any value out of that, frankly, is a nitwit, in my opinion. No offense to the nitwits out there, but, I could be a nitwit sometimes, too, on other things, but not on this thing. I would like to hang with Deion Sanders. Do you think he'd hang with me?
Well, he probably won't be back today. I think it was a one-time thing. He was there yesterday.
That would be so cool to hang with him.
I thought it was strategic for him to go without the fans.
Yeah, that's true. He probably did that on
like
purpose.
He sat at the top of the bleachers, again, with no fans around. You could sit at the top, and then he walked over to the other side. When Shador moved to the other field, he went to the other side, sat at the top of the bleachers.
Yeah.
Just watched practice, hung out.
Yeah.
And right there.
I mean, you can't, in terms of, like right now, I saw somebody, I can't remember if it was Daryl. I think it was Daryl put a post of like a running play.
Quinn Shaw's running play.
I'm like, I love you, Daryl.
A bunch of people posted it. It's content.
But what is the point of that?
It's
like,
content.
don't tell me he took it to the house. There's no
clicks,
tackling.
And it's people who genuinely, and I'm telling you, there are people who genuinely get excited about training camp clips because they haven't had real football to look at.
Yeah,
I get it, but don't read something into it. That's all.
Well, I don't think people are necessarily trying to read into that. It's like, spring training. The first time you see pitchers and catchers,
see everybody out
especially
there.
when it's February and it's 18 below.
Yeah.
It's just good to see and I'm sure for Browns fans, it's the same way. It's just seeing the guys.
Today will be cool because the fans get to lay eyes on players for the first time. Yeah. That's fun.
I remember when I was a season ticket holder and season ticket holders got first dibs on training camp tickets.
Yeah.
And I used to just be so excited to go to training camp because it marked the start of football.
Yeah.
After not having football for 6 months, you fiending for anything that's orange or brown or football related. Back to the quarterback tracker, I'm with you. I think that people read way too much into it, regardless if the completion percentage is high or not. I was talking to Lance Risley yesterday, and he shared some of his notes about what the Browns were working on. And with the quarterbacks, Todd Monken was focused on footwork and balance, making sure that your footwork was right, your balance was right.
Yeah.
And he put in his notes, like, even if you completed the pass, if your balance and your framework wasn't right, Todd Monken make you get in there and do it all over again.
Right.
And so when you see these stat trackers and you see this 6 for 6 or 14 for 24, that's cool, might not be cool, but you don't know what they're working on. And so sometimes even completing a pass might not matter depending on what the drill is, what the technique that they have you working on in, et cetera. So you can't really read too much into the quarterback tracker. I would just give the advice of, talk to some people that you can trust, get out there yourself, put your eyes on the team and try to make an evaluation. But reading into any stats before a game is played, when you really don't know what part of the install that they're working on, I just think you can lead yourself to believe some things that might not be true that way.
Jason, I agree with everything you said, Daryl. Did you sense that did you notice a different energy versus when Stefanski was head coach or no?
No,
I feel like just another.
It was longer. It felt like another training camp.
Okay.
It was longer, like for sure. Like they took, I think Kevin's practices were roughly probably an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I would say, and Todd's maximizing all of the time.
which is certainly a noticeable difference.
Yeah,
But in terms of the buzz, the energy, the feel of how guys are playing, you didn't notice any difference.
It's the same. I mean, most, not all, most are about the same. They're structured about the same. So no, it felt like a typical Browns training camp.
Right.
But again, it was one day. I was there for, I didn't go Wednesday. So yesterday was my first day there, and I'll go today.
All right, well, we'll see what our feel is today. Go ahead, Mike.
I just wanted to ask Jason, I know you weren't there on Wednesday to have a side-by-side comparison, and Zach's going to come in about 20 minutes and give us the side-by-side comparison, but what did you make of the quarterbacks yesterday from what you were able to see?
I want to use the word underwhelming, but people are going to take a negative connotation with that. I don't mean it to be. It wasn't as. I didn't think Deshaun was as bad as what we heard about Wednesday. Obviously, I wasn't there Wednesday.
Yeah.
And from all accounts, he was awful on Wednesday. I didn't think he was awful yesterday. I don't think he stood out in really any particular way. Mm-hmm. I didn't think Shador really stood out in any particular way.
What about the wide receivers? Anybody?
Boston flashed a couple times, I thought, on a couple routes. But again, it's so limited to draw a lot from one practice because you're only like 7-on-7 and 11-on-11 is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's just not, at least yesterday, there wasn't a ton of that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to, I don't want to come on here and like make some broad proclamation based on a handful of plays that we saw.
Yeah.
But, I certainly do think that the receiver room is upgraded. There's no question about that.
Yeah. I interviewed Ryan Leaf yesterday. It'll be put out in my podcast at 2:00 today. And I asked him about Deshaun versus Shador. And he, like a number of other former players, has, like, when we all are like, why would you play Deshaun? Mm-hmm. The ex-players don't feel that way. They're just like, we want the best player to play.
I get
That's
it. I get it.
I get that too. And he suspected, and he's not at Browns camp, but he was like, my guess is Deshaun will be the better guy when it's all said and done in training camp because I don't know. And he, by the way, for those who care about such things, maybe don't care what Ryan Leaf has to say, I don't know. But he's very high on both Boston and Concepcion. He thinks they're both going to be really good.
Good. The thing with Deshaun that I did notice this yesterday, it's part of the reason I guess why I said underwhelming, is he'll make one or two throws that are like,
wow.
Well, they're standard throws. Like and then he'll have 3 or 4 that it's like, oh my God, he just threw it in the ground. Or he missed, like it's a drill and he missed him by 4 yards. And it's just a drill. Like, what is going on? So that, at least, and again, it's one day. But that looks similar to previous years with him. He'll make 1 or 2 throws that are fine, and then he'll make 1 or 2 like, oh my, like that. You should never make that type of throw in a training camp setting.
That's what I heard in phase 2 before we got to training camp. So it's not surprising to hear that still was going on. There's been a level of inconsistency
and again,
with him all this offseason.
I think it goes back to the shoulder. We don't talk enough about that shoulder injury that he suffered. That was a significant injury that, like, it is a highly unusual injury for quarterbacks. It's more of a pitcher's type injury. Nobody really knew how he was going to come back from that. And he was never great with the Browns. But when he came back from that shoulder, and we joked about the Cowboys game and how horrendous he, talking to players after far enough removed, they're like, oh, we were not at all surprised. Like, if you saw him throwing in camp, we knew the Cowboys game was going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
And so I just don't know if, and you think with more time, but I think it is what it is with him.
Right.
That's why, I mean, I hear former players say, play Deshaun.
Right.
I'm watching Deshaun going, I don't know if he's an NFL quarterback anymore.
Right.
Just because of
I don't think he is.
Just because of some of the throws that we've seen.
I mean, when I look at it, I think me and Tyvis kind of see it the same way. Deshaun Watson is motivated and he is ready. And I think he is eager to compete. And all that's great because he absolutely should be. But when I think about if he was to be named a starting quarterback, you're going to be coming off 2 stints of not playing football, organized football, for at least 693 days minimum. And so the speed of the game is something that I worry about because before I was naive. I thought he was just going to get back out there and the muscle memory would kick in and he'll be the Deshaun Watson that we saw in Houston. That wasn't the case. You fast forward now, it's going to be another long layoff, but you suffered 2 more Achilles injuries and you suffered a unique shoulder injury.
Right.
And so when you consider all of that, I just don't know if it's still in there for him. And so being motivated to compete, but actually going out there and being able to be your best version of you, those are two different things. When a normal human being have any type of surgery, it alters you probably for your life. You have limitations on things that you can do. And I understand him being an athlete and everything that comes with that, but your body is still your body. And so with that shoulder being what it is, who knows what his limitations are now that might be permanent. And it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation.
It certainly is. And so it puts the Browns in a weird spot, but well, we'll see. Time will tell. We'll talk plenty more about the Browns in training camp coming up. When we return,